farm to table. It sounds simple, romantic even. Your food grows here, gets picked here, and ends up right here. But what if I told you this feel-good story isn't always true? That the journey your food takes is far longer and far more complicated than the label lets on. Today we're unraveling the surprisingly tangled path behind the food on your plate. From supply chains to seasonal myths and the uncomfortable truth behind local food. Because the closer you look, the more complex it gets. If you like stories where science gets messy, labels get misleading, and the truth hides in plain sight, hit subscribe. Because this isn't the only time we've turned a simple idea into something way more complicated. The farm-to-table movement was born as a response, a rebellion against industrialized food. In the 1970s, chefs like Alice Waters started asking, "Why are we flying in tomatoes when we can grow them right here?" It was about freshness, supporting local farms, and transparency. You know where your food came from, who grew it, and maybe even their dog's name. But here's the problem. We don't live in a food utopia. Restaurants have to serve strawberries in January. Grocery stores stock the same items year-round. And very few farmers grow everything. So behind the scenes, your local ingredients are often shipped, repackaged, and distributed by giant wholesalers. Some menus labeled farm to table still rely on food that's traveled thousands of miles. Why? Because real consistent farm-to-table sourcing is expensive, seasonal, and fragile. Let's talk definitions. In the US, the USDA defines local as anything produced within 400 miles of where it's sold. So, your local beef could still be a 6-hour truck ride away. And here's the kicker. There are no legal standards for the phrase farm-to-table. It's a marketing term, not a certification. So almost anyone can use it. Is food better when it's local? Not always. Some produce starts losing nutrients immediately after harvest. Others, like apples, can last months with proper storage. It depends on how it's grown, stored, and transported. In fact, a tomato shipped carefully across the country can sometimes be fresher than a bruised one picked yesterday and left in the sun. Here's the uncomfortable part. Truly local, seasonal eating takes time, effort, and often money. It works best in small-scale, high-margin restaurants or wealthy communities. For most of us, farm-to-table is less a reality and more of a vibe. A brand, a story we want to believe. But it's not all bad. Some farms and restaurants do live by the principles. They build direct relationships. They work with what's in season. They pay farmers fairly. And consumers, when informed, can make choices that support them. So next time you see farm-to-table on a menu, pause. Ask a question. Look deeper. Because while the idea still matters, the truth is far more complex. And if you like stories where science gets messy, history gets twisted, and nothing is as simple as it seems, hit subscribe. Because food is just the beginning.